Hello and welcome to Accelerate. I am Matt Stone. This is the podcast where we encourage and inspire CEOs, founders, and visionaries on their big leap journeys. We talk about the stories and strategies that will help you accelerate toward your big leap destination with purpose, humility, an open mind, commitment to growth, and recognition that the way we get there is at least as important as where we end up. And I'm so delighted that you've tuned in today. All right, and welcome to Thursday, August 4th. And thank you again for listening to the podcast. I really, really do appreciate it. And I'm getting some comments back from folks and some private messages, etc. And it really delights me. So I hope you are having a fantastic week. Are you sitting down for this? Well, I am. Normally I'm standing when I record these because I like the energy of standing and just feels a little bit more high energy in the morning. But I got to admit, I'm not feeling high energy at all. This BA5 variant, which I have to assume that I had, it just, for me, and I've talked to a few other people, it's just a constant drain of energy. And someday I hope to have some energy back, but boy, is it a fatigue enhancing experience. There you go. Fatigue enhancing experience. There's a big fee to this one. So, all right, enough of the corny jokes. One of the things that actually this low energy period has sort of highlighted for me was I have this client and she is amazing. She's a real boss, literally and figuratively, and is just handling so many things all the time and going, and kind of fell into a pattern of I send an email, there's a bit of a delay in her response, and then I get a very apologetic, I'm so sorry I haven't emailed you back or whatever kind of email. And I thought to myself, after about the third time of this, I thought, how much of an inconvenience has it been that she takes a day or two to get back to me? And I thought, well, so far, it hasn't been an inconvenience at all because there hasn't been any fires, that raging for me to need to get to hear back from her within a couple of hours. And yet I could really relate to her sensibility about it, feeling guilty about not being super responsive all the time. And I think about that common trap that I get into, that many people get into, where that feeling of just, the wolves are at you and you've got to be super responsive and put everything aside to make sure you're responding to everybody all the time. And so I thought, well, what would be a different kind of response? So by the third time that she sent me this kind of apology, I just decided to write back and say, okay, here's my prescription for you. I won't accept any apologies for being late until at least 3 full business days have gone by. And even then, it may not even be appropriate. But let's give, we can all use some extra grace. I forget what I wrote. But here was what I really learned from that experience. And I meant it for her, and she didn't respond. So I'm assuming it went well. But it freed me up. Because when I give that gift to somebody else of grace and just, it's okay. You're causing absolutely zero harm. Do what you got to do. If there's something, really urgent, I'll let you know. But otherwise, take a few days. That buys myself a lot of space. And now I'm not beating myself up so much. And I hadn't really thought about that impact when I really meant it when I sent it to her. It's okay. But then almost instantly, I felt relief about my own response times. And I'm dealing with that a lot because my energy's a bit low. I'm really fatigued. And so I'm kind of taking things a little bit more slowly right now in the middle of this summer with, recovering from this illness, and it's hot and all the other reasons why things might be a little bit more slow than normal, and that's okay. So, Lord knows we used to write letters. Remember that? I remember that. A letter on paper in the mail. Unbelievable. That's actually not a half bad idea. Write someone a letter. So listen, where can you give someone else grace who may need it? Where can you give them some grace? And you don't have to do it to help yourself, but the added benefit is it's going to give you some grace too. And so that would be my encouragement for today. I've got one more bit of encouragement and a request. Who could benefit from tuning into this podcast every day? You know, we're just a small startup podcast here and really looking to help the entrepreneur, the founder, the solopreneur, the leader who feels a bit isolated and wants to make big changes. People on a journey. Consciously on a journey, trying to overcome some big challenges, who want to nurture a healthy environment while they make a big transition happen and get to the next level of whatever that is. That's what this podcast is really for. And so if you know someone that you think would benefit from a kind word, a little insight, just knowing that they're not alone in their journey, share the podcast, won't you? Let them know. Let them know about the podcast and invite them to join our subscriber list. And if you haven't subscribed, make sure to subscribe. And if you like the podcast, give us a good rating as well. So now that we've got over a month of consistent podcasting here on a daily basis during the week, I'm going to be kind of putting it out more publicly at this point. And I'm really, really excited about that. And I'm glad that you're on this journey at this early stage. Okay. So come to Twitter at MattStoneCO, where I do post announcements about these podcasts. And I'd love to see a comment or two there. And of course, you can always find me at mattstone.co. Mattstone.co is the website where the podcast also is featured, and along with our readiness assessment for people who are contemplating a big leap, and some other resources and additional things coming soon, which I know I keep saying, but it really is true. But in the meantime, one day at a time, who can you extend some grace to today, and in return, get a huge break for yourself? That's your challenge. And until next time, bye-bye for now.